Hello, today's devotional is based on the theme Ask, Seek, Knock, and it is taken from the book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 7. And it says, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you." When I was thinking about this verse, it took me back to just before Christmas when it was my niece's birthday, and it's become a tradition in our house where she comes for a sleepover, and we take her to a toy store and we give her a budget, and we tell her that you can go into the toy store and you can pick a toy for your birthday, and she absolutely loves it. So last year what we done was we took her to the toy store and she went in and her face lit up with all the possibilities of what she could choose, all the options of gift, all the opportunity that one of these presents could be hers, and she ran up and down and pranced up and down all of the aisles for what felt like for a very long time to pick out the perfect gift. And eventually she stopped in an aisle and she was looking at this one gift, which was a bag of a film character called Stitch, and she was looking at it for a wee while, and eventually she turned round and started just to tell us a story about Stitch and tell us what about the movie and how it was funny and how she liked the movie. And then eventually she told me about the bag and all the features of the bag and how this was the best bag ever, and it was funny and it had all these quirks to it. And I was then anticipating her to ask that this was the present, that this was the one that she wanted. But then she put the gift back and she looked around a wee bit at other ones and then came back and touched the gift a few times and then went away and then came and told me another story about this perfect bag. And I was still waiting for her just to say, "Sarah, I would like this bag, I'm choosing this one." But instead I had to ask her, I said, "Hannah, do you want that present for your birthday?" And she said yes. And I wonder, is this a little bit like our relationship with God sometimes? I wonder if this is how our prayer life kind of exists, where we know from the Bible and we know from church and we know from other people around us that our God is a kind and loving and generous God. We know that He is the giver of all good gifts. We know all these things. But yet when we come to Him in prayer, sometimes we waffle and we talk around the topic and we're not quite sure if we should ask for it in that way, or if that is a bit too bold to come directly to God and ask for that. Maybe we're a little bit afraid to ask for the things that are really going on in our lives, the things that are really hurting us. If we could remember that just as I was standing there anticipating an ask from Hannah, that our God is standing there anticipating our ask, that He's waiting for us to come and ask Him for these things. You see, He's not surprised by our prayer requests. He's not surprised by the things going on in our lives, because He sees them and He knows them and He cares about them. But sometimes it takes our attitude to change that a little bit, that we would have the boldness, that we would have the courage, we would have the faith to ask for these things again. You see, He says, "Ask and it will be given to you." I wonder today, could we build a fresh confidence? Could we challenge ourselves to ask for those things that we've maybe not asked before, or the things that we've just put aside and almost sworn not to ask ever again because we're too scared to? I wonder if we could change our faith today and ask for the things that we know that He can give us. Because when we ask, He answers our prayers. When we seek, we find, and when we knock at the door, we know that our loving God will always, always answer it.